All right, you guys, I got a nice one for you today. This is an Alfa Romeo Giulia. I'll show you around the car. Very good style to it. I love these wheels and I love these red brake calipers. But I'll take you around the car. This is the back of it. As you can see, it has the all-wheel drive. I love the dual exhausts. All right, so this is a 2-liter turbo making 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. So pretty impressive numbers for a 2-liter turbo, and this thing really moves. But yeah, we'll hop in here and we'll take it out on a little drive, show you guys what it's made of. Now, first of all, I love this interior. I love this color combination. Very Italian in how it looks. It's pretty simple in here, but it's pretty solid as well. Everything seems to fit together well. We'll start up. I like the start button in this spot right here. It's very easy to reach. You can just hit it with your thumb. Starts right up really quick. You have this Harman Kardon sound system, and it sounds pretty good. I actually like the sound system in this car. It's got good bass to it, and it just has a really good range. You have your gauges right here. I actually like the look of these despite them being analog. I love the little Alfa Romeo badge right there. Just adds a nice touch to it. On your steering wheel, you have your radio controls, your Bluetooth. You have your cruise control and your start-stop button. Over here, you have your turn signal stalk. It's the kind of stalk that returns back into place when you hit it. You get used to it, but it's just a little bit bothersome at first. Same with the wiper stalks. You have your headlight controls over here, your parking sensors on or off, and your auto start stop on or off. You have your gear shifter right here. You push up for reverse. Pretty small backup camera. It's not like the best quality in my opinion. But you do get like a little display right here with your parking sensors. To put it in neutral, it's just a little click down, and to put it in drive, you have to press the button on the back and push down, and that puts it in drive. Manual mode is over here. Up for downshift, down for upshift. Pretty good. To put it in park, you just push this button and the gear shift moves over automatically. I love that. Down here you have your drive modes. I'm actually not sure what DNA stands for. I'm pretty sure D stands for dynamic, which is very fitting because we're dynamic drives here. I'm not sure what N stands for, or A. I assume I'll put what they stand for in the screen. But when you change the drive modes, you get a cool little graphic of the car. I leave it in dynamic because that's like the best mode in my opinion. It's the sportiest. It's the one you want to be in. I mean, come on, you don't buy a car like this to put it in like economy mode. I mean, let's be real. You have your volume controls right here. This is your Seek track over here. It's weird to change the radio station. This actually took me forever to figure out. So it's a little bit confusing. So to change your radio station, you go to radio, scroll down to band. This is where you choose between AM, FM, and whatever. And you think you just hit previous or next, but that's not the case. You actually have to go to your station list and scroll down through the list of stations and select the one you want. And that's just a little bit annoying. A lot of cars will just give you a simple tuning knob, and that's that. You do have heated seats right here, 3-level. You have a heated steering wheel, and this heated steering wheel actually gets hot. It gets legitimately hot, and I kind of like that. It definitely keeps your hands nice and warm. Climate controls, very easy to use. This controls your temperature, your fan speed, pretty self-explanatory. But let's go back to the menu here. You have your media. This is where you connect your device for Bluetooth. You have your phone, your navigation. It's a pretty clear display. I do wish this was a touch screen. You have to like control everything through this scroll wheel right here. And this could easily be a touch screen because it's like well within reach. I kind of wish they did that, but it's not a huge deal. This is still a really great car. I still love this car. I mean, after driving it, I want one legitimately. Like I actually want to buy one of these. You see Audis and BMWs all the time, but you never see an Alfa Romeo anywhere. So it's a very unique choice. It's a very stylish car and it drives super well. You don't get much storage in here. This is the center console and this is all the space you get. So really not a whole lot of space in here. You have your glove box over here. Again, it's like pretty tiny, but you can fit some stuff in there. All right, you guys, we're gonna take this thing out on a little drive here. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts. Very quick steering, and this thing just grips around the corner. It handles super well. Surprisingly, for having such a good handling dynamic, this thing actually has a pretty settled and controlled ride. I won't get on it too hard here because we're in a little neighborhood right here. These brakes, they just respond so quick. You barely have to press the pedal to stop. You're definitely touchy for sure. Yeah, this thing, it gets up to speed at an impressive rate. For just having a 2-liter turbo, this thing feels much faster than a lot of V6s out there. I'd love to test drive the 500 horsepower version, but this 2-liter turbo, it satisfies very well. Love the power this car makes. The steering, once you're up to speed, it's decently heavy. It's not like overly heavy. It's still pretty easy to turn, but as you can see, it just responds so well. Just right when I turn the wheel, this car darts around. It's a very playful steering feel, and I love it. You have good visibility. This car feels so small on the road. That's another reason why I love it so much. It has such a narrow profile to it, and it makes it feel so tossable, so maneuverable. I can see right over the front hood just fine. I have a good view out of the back, and you get big side mirrors in this car and really thin A-pillars. So this car, it just has a very small, very maneuverable, very nimble characteristic right off the bat. These windows do fog up really easily, and sometimes I have to wind the windows down so that doesn't happen. Not sure why. I've never been in a car that had windows that fogged up like this easily, but maybe that's like a case with the Giulia. Maybe they're all like that. Maybe it's just this one. I don't really know, but regardless, it's a great car. I could live with the windows fogging up if I had one of these. It's fairly quiet in here, not dead silent, but not loud or anything or intrusive. About average for a sports sedan. You just feel very connected to the road in this car, for sure. The power does drop off a little bit, typical of a turbo engine. I'd say once you cross over 4,000, it does start to drop off. It feels strongest in the low revs for sure, but it's got a nice smooth power band, and it's just quick on its feet. Really, it's a settled ride too. This really gives you the best of both worlds. You get a really settled ride, but really compliant and really firm handling. This thing almost reminds me of like a Lamborghini sedan, just in how like quick and responsive everything is. It's very smooth as well. It has like a good blend of like refinement and sportiness. You do definitely have to finesse the pedal with these brakes just because they're so touchy. They like respond like right when you push the pedal, and then as you're slowing down to a stop, they kind of really grab on, and I was definitely like stopping a little bit short at times when I first drove this car. So you have to like finesse the pedal a little bit. You kind of have to like go light on it and then lean into it, and then you gotta kind of let off as you're like almost at a stop. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, these brakes feel very smooth and very powerful, and they inspire a lot of confidence for sure. Driving down the road here in a straight line, it feels super stable. This is definitely one of the most stable feeling sedans I've driven. It feels really grounded just at any speed you're going. But I'm gonna slow down here and back off these cars a little bit so I can test out this corner up here. All right, we're gonna hit it. Yeah, this thing grips very well. Very nimble, very playful car. So we got a dump truck and a school bus in front of us. I think the only thing we're missing is a semi-truck. Oh, there is a semi-truck. Okay. I am going to turn here so I'm not behind the school bus any longer. And I'm gonna hang out here until traffic clears up so I can... Oh, wow. What else could go wrong today? I shouldn't complain though, I'm driving an Alfa Romeo. Now this 8-speed automatic, it shifts very fast. This is one of the fastest shifting torque converter automatics I've ever experienced. And this thing is just so nimble. I apologize for the wind. I had to keep the windows down to stop the windows from fogging up. But yeah, this 8-speed automatic, it's great. It's just, it shifts so quick, holds the engine right where you want it to be, and it's very smooth shifting. It's very predictable, always does what you want it to do. So I think they did a really good job with the transmission in this car. It's one of the few automatics that feels like a dual clutch, and actually feels equivalent to a dual clutch, I would say. One drawback with this transmission, if you slow down and then get back on the gas a little too suddenly, it can like slam into gear a little bit. So I'll try to demonstrate that right now. And it's pretty rare that it does it. You just have to step on it lightly at first. Yeah, this thing just has a lot of grip and very nimble, handles great. Really, really fun car. This steering, it's very responsive. It communicates really well. As I said, just very darty steering. I mean, but it's smooth and refined too. It's not like it's like a jerky feeling steering. It still has a good amount of smoothness and refinement to it, but I just love the quick ratio. I think that just suits this car so well. Throws you in the back of your seat. It's a very light feeling car too. Couldn't imagine what the 500 horsepower version feels like, because this feels plenty quick, plenty fun to drive. But I'm gonna slow down a little bit here, stop driving like a maniac. And once you slow down and once you're driving normally, it's a very luxurious feeling car. As I said, I love this interior. It's just so nice to look at. I just love the brown and the, you know, the very exotic looking colors in here. Very easy to tell where the front tires are going. We're gonna take this little corner right here once again. Yeah, it handles it no problem. Really feels like this thing should be wearing 2 doors instead of 4. Very quick revving turbo engine too. It's very sporty feeling. Just revs really fast and just always wants to get up and go. We're gonna take it on the highway here. Amazing handling, wow. Very impressed with the handling of this car. Fortunately, we have another school bus in front of us, so we can't really test out the acceleration, but hopefully we'll get to do that later. It's a little bit noisier on the highway, although this is a particularly windy day, so I'm not going to judge it too harshly for that. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit on the loud side on the highway. I guess that's the price you pay for having a really good handling sedan. For, you know, 40, 50 grand. This thing is kind of a bargain, honestly. Brakes, as I said, very touchy, inspire a good amount of confidence. I'll do a little brake check here. Yeah, they just stopped the car right away. Really don't want to give this car up. Wish I could keep it. Definitely some wind noise. We're gonna take it a little bit faster here. I mean, we're in a sports car, come on. Yeah, even at these speeds, it feels very planted and very secure. But we are going to try this cloverleaf ramp right here, as usual. Going about 40, doing very well. Felt like I could have gone much faster than that, honestly. Of course, I will be doing a silent drive video on this car, so check that out. As I mentioned earlier, if a heated steering wheel is important to you, this is the car. I mean, this steering wheel is legitimately hot to touch. I'm gonna try manual mode here. So we're gonna downshift, push up. Okay, this responds very quickly. I'd say responds pretty much right away, right when you pull a shifter. Yeah. So I will say manual mode in this car is definitely more engaging compared to other cars I've driven. Put it back in normal drive though, because this transmission, it does a really good job on its own, I think. So we'll talk about throttle response when this light turns green. It's pretty immediate, honestly. It's a nice stiff throttle and it's pretty immediate in how it responds. It definitely gives you a good sense of what the engine is doing. It never feels vague or anything. It always feels very crisp and very responsive. So I love the throttle response in this Giulia. I think it works really well for this car. Feels very sporty. Yeah, very snappy shifts from this 8-speed. We'll try out the turning radius here. It's got a pretty good turning radius, definitely. All right. Well, that sums up my thoughts on the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I love this car. It's got such a nimble and playful characteristic to it. It feels very small in here. When it goes down the road, it has a small footprint to it, which I like. and the steering is so responsive. Just it corners like it's on rails. Really, it feels like a sports car in a sedan form. So I had a great time with this car. Steering, it's nice and heavy, although not overly heavy. It still has a good luxurious feel to it, but it definitely responds quicker than most cars out there. And so the steering, thumbs up on that. This 8-speed automatic shifts like a dual clutch. I mean, it just really bangs out all the right gears for you, and it's just a very responsive and engaging transmission. The ride quality in here is really good. It's got a very settled and balanced ride, surprisingly. I was expecting this thing to ride really harsh, but really it soaks up the bumps pretty well for having such a really good handling dynamic. So I'm impressed with the ride quality. The road noise around town is about average for a sports sedan. It's decently quiet, but not isolated and totally silent. On the highway, I was hearing some more wind noise than I thought I would, so the road noise could be slightly improved. Throttle response, really responsive. Right when you press the accelerator, it just responds immediately. Brakes are very touchy, kind of the same story. They respond right when you press the pedal down. So I love the response of this car, definitely. Interior is great. It's a pretty simple interior to look at, but I love the color scheme, and it just has some nice touches to it that really elevate the experience, like these metal speaker grills right here, and the color scheme and just the overall quality of this interior feels really nice, and definitely it makes a solid impression when you get in this car. The infotainment, it could be a little bit better. Like I said, changing your radio station is a bit of a challenge. They could just give us a simple tuning knob, but instead you have to go through like 3 menus. So I think that could be improved upon. It's pretty easy to use though, I will say that. Handling, super good, obviously. You guys know that already from my review. Just really good handling, really confidence inspiring. Absolutely zero complaints with the handling of this car. Really feels like a true sports sedan. But yeah, we're gonna hop out here, shut it off. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.